Hello guys, welcome back to our final episode of
Hello,
Paris
guys.
and Bazcast in 2021. It's all coming to an end, and I hope
we're
that
looking
COVID.
We're looking forward to 2022.
Bigger and better 2022.
Bigger and better.
That's
Yep,
it.
yep.
So welcome back once again to our weekly episodes, Paris and Bazcast. Every Thursday, but today's a Friday. We've had a big week this week.
Yep.
Trying to end the year. So here we are, providing a bit of a wrap of our much loved podcast. So thank you to all of our subscribers that join us every week in listening to it, in hearing the video of the Paris and Bazcast, or the audio of the podcast on any of your favorite channels, so on your Spotify, Apple, iTunes, and Apple Podcast and whatnot.
We had some great speakers during the year, so hopefully that's been helpful for you guys.
Yeah, so we really appreciate the feedback that we had from you through the year of who you wanted to hear from or what sort of topics that we should cover. So keep that coming. It will continue. We've got a great lineup of speakers for next year as well that will be talking to you about some of the questions that you've asked us this year. So keep that feedback and questions coming. So today is all about our highlights and our key learnings and what sort of made 2021 a year to remember. So in terms of, in a nutshell, let's talk about the Paris and Bazcast to begin with. Your most loved episodes this year, at top in terms of how many views we've had, is the 5 most negotiated terms in a contract for sale.
And I think that always comes up when you're buying or selling. There's points always in the contract which the buyer and seller is unaware of. And I think that was a hot topic of discussion when we had that on the class.
From Jared from Dot and Crosset. So appreciate that support there. Then it was, is it a good time to buy in the Hills District? Again, another topic. We had Arjun Paliwal to come through and discuss, and it's an evergreen topic.
With all those statistics, and I think the Hills District has shined again this year. Property prices some doubling, so I think it's never a bad time to buy in the Hills.
I know. So to watch your investments grow. I mean, we've invested ourselves in the area ourselves, so definitely a great time to be buying in the Hills District. Then we also had the Future of Norwest. Wow, there is so much planned.
So much happening in the Norwest Business Park, in the commercial space, with the golf park happening next to the Norwest Private Hospital. So I think the Norwest Business Park in the next 4 or 5 years will be a thing to see.
Absolutely.
So they're going to call the Norwest City, as they say.
Smart City.
Norwest
Smart City. So Malfa Norwest, the head of development, Tim Spencer, talked to us about that one.
With exciting commercial projects on the way.
Which we're going to talk about, so stay tuned for that one. And then the last one was the APRA serviceability changes. So all of this, the heat in the market and how it's now being controlled by the, the interest rates and serviceability rates specifically. APRA making some changes there, and that's been quite a topic of interest of a lot of people, of what's going to happen next year, whether the market's going to continue to go up or whether the changes that are being proposed are going to make an impact. So we've had that one, a great response to that episode as well. So do feel free to go back to our the podcast episodes. You'll be able to hear all of those in detail, but thank you for your support on all of these. Now, in terms of our highlights for the year, what were some of your highlights?
I think one of the highlights will be the blockbuster open home we had in Parkley. I think we had about 85 parties come through the open home. I remember the whole street was fully flooded. Neighbours were thinking, is this one big party?
Big party,
This is pre-COVID, obviously, so it was crazy.
At the beginning of this year,
So I think that was memorable.
And
of course we sold out that evening, the property as well.
Exactly. That went for an hour and a half, I think. We were there.
2 hours, above vendors' expectations. I think that was one to remember.
Definitely one to remember. And, looking back at 2021, if we're talking about the peak of the market of what we've seen, sort of June, July has seen the most amount of transactions, the numbers, and the dollar value and market. And ever since, you have started to see a little bit of a stabilization in the market, which will continue in 2022.
That's when the heat was on. The stock was quite short.
Mm.
supply was short, and the buyer demand was very high.
Very high.
Yeah,
At the beginning of this year. So good time to sell. What about, so look, my highlight, I think the fact that we were able to convert this into a podcast. We've been waiting to bring the audio, all of our audio listeners, to bring this podcast to our audio listeners, and we were able to convert that. So really thankful to be able to get through and have our support of our team to be able to do the tireless work behind the scenes to convert this video into audio so that you can hear it wherever you are on any of your podcast channels. There's a lot of time and effort
that does go into it behind the scenes to get it up and running.
That's right.
To bring it to you guys.
Absolutely. And another geeky one for me was being able to go live on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is one of those platforms that you have to wait. We had to wait about 8 months to get on. So to be able to go live on there, that's a big deal. So that's my geeky highlight of the year, to be able to bring the podcast to more listeners and more viewers throughout the different social media channels. Talking about social media, we've had some crazy numbers
of likes, following as well.
Likes and follows. So we really appreciate your support. Our follower numbers have probably tripled from where we started at the beginning of the year. So really thankful for that. One of the video that stands out, which reached 258 viewers worldwide, was a property on Patel Street. And the way that we quirkily termed that video to say that if you are a Patel, you want to make sure you can grab this opportunity. And that went viral. That is a real example of a viral video. And after that, we've had a few, actually at least about 10 other videos that have had more than 30,000 views. The most recent one, about 190 views, and 90,000 views for a rental property in North Kellyville. So really appreciate your support throughout.
And that's the most important thing, I think, getting the property out there, getting the organic reach, so basically maximizing the potential of the property.
And that is our point of difference. When you are comparing agents out there, and everyone can list on real estate and domain, but the edge that we provide is our reach on our social media to be able to reach our properties, whether they are for sale or for lease, to maybe those buyers that are not even looking on those platforms, or not just in the beginning of their consideration set. That is an advantage that you want to use to your advantage. So that is definitely a key one there. And then talking about some of our, like the new venture that we've started, if you want to talk about the commercial side of things. So watch this space in a couple of years, Paris and Baz commercial coming soon. So let's talk about
we have a number of commercial projects that are going on in the area. So if you are interested in commercial space, do let us know. There's a number of things on the horizon next year. So do get in touch. And I think the commercial space is another area where you can invest, not just in residential property, which can give you a high yielding return when you compare apples with apples. So do get in touch with us.
So talk to me. So this is a building of about how many?
Yeah. So there's a number of buildings happening in the area. So then again, do get in touch with us, and we can explain more which buildings there are available,
which opportunities we have.
So there's commercial, office space, there's retail. So there's a number of spaces available, and there's new buildings coming up in the park next year as well.
I mean, Malfa is one of the ones that are building the Bond, for example. So there's a number of projects that are happening in the Norwest Business Park that we'll be happy to talk to you about. The
exciting one is, I think, with the golf park that's happening next year. So I think that's up and running in March, April next year.
Yeah.
So we'll be
going there for sure.
Yeah. So there you go.
And on a personal note, I think being able to be on a builder, that was a highlight to be able to take on a
renovation project that we have taken on. It's been never ending. I think we're getting there right now as we speak. So I think obviously the delay has been, with supply of timber materials, have to wait a couple of months. But once it's done, we'll be happy.
Sit back and relax and enjoy what we've built.
Yeah, definitely. But if you guys are renovating, extending, looking to do it as an owner builder, do get in touch as well.
We'll be happy
We've got
to
a lot of contacts we can
provide.
Put you onto,
our feedback. Yeah. Well, there you go. I think we've covered everything. I think one other memorable sale that I can I remember within the suburb of Oran Park, where now this is when the market started to change in the last couple of months. We had, at the first inspection, 2 buyers come through, and one of them bought it, and for a great price. So it's one of those things.
As they say, you need one buyer to buy
one buyer to buy a property.
So you know, multiple parties. So you got to market it right and negotiate it right, and you get the result.
Perfect. Well, any final words before we finish off?
Looking forward to a bigger and better 2022. I think we've been one of the lucky ones in the industry. With finance real estate has really been strong this year, and we hope it continues next year. I think real estate is a thing in Australia where everyone always wants to talk about it. Yeah. So I think 2022 will be a good year. I think the buyers that have missed out this year, next year would give probably more opportunity, more supply in the market, which we have seen in the last couple of weeks. That sense of urgency has decreased from buyers. So there's more stock available on the market. Depends what APRA does with the serviceability calculator next year as well, with the buffer rate now at 3%, potentially increasing next year again. There's no sign of it yet increasing, but the fixed rates have gone up over the last couple of weeks, couple of times, probably 3 or 4 times. So I think that's a sign that rates are on the rise. I was reading an article yesterday, they were predicting the variable rates to increase by the end of 2024 previously, but now they're saying mid-2023, even earlier it could happen. So I think that's going to go hand in hand with inflation, how that goes as well. So obviously if rates are going to increase, depending on your financial situation, there'll be some vendors that will need to sell or offload their properties, which could be an opportunity for the buyers that have missed out this year to cash in. So be ready. In terms of finance, have your finance sorted, get in touch, have a finance pre-approval in place so you can bid with confidence. When you're going to auction, you're ready to go. And obviously if you've got equity in your property that you haven't touched yet, we can take that out, have that ready as a deposit for your next purchase, depending on what you want to do, upsize, downsize. So yeah, there's plenty that you can do, and there's another space as well, which is the super space. So if you're looking at buying a property through your super fund, that's another avenue where you can expand your property portfolio without it technically affecting your cash flow. So that's another investment you can make. So do get in touch in that
see how we
as well.
can help. Absolutely. Well, there you go. So there's lots happening, and definitely continue to follow our page and our stories. A lot of behind the scenes, a lot of new properties that are coming on the market are being shared there first. And definitely continue to watch our Paris and Bazcast and keep sending us through your recommendations and suggestions and questions that we can answer in the future episodes. Thank you very much for watching. Merry Christmas to your family and a very happy New Year. We'll catch you guys in 2022.
See you guys.
Have a good one.